John F. Kennedy wasn't just a president, he was once a little boy who loved to learn. Even when he was young, growing up with his brothers and sisters, John knew that learning was important. He loved to read books about brave knights and faraway lands. He believed that with enough knowledge, you could do anything. He went to different schools, and he always tried his best. He understood that learning wasn't just about memorizing facts. It was about understanding the world around you and how things worked. He was curious and always asked questions. Little John knew that school helped kids grow up to be smart and strong, ready to make the world a better place. He saw how his teachers helped him and his classmates learn and grow. He knew that good schools were like magic gardens where kids could blossom into amazing people. This belief stayed with him as he grew older. He never forgot the power of a good education. He remembered how much it meant to him, and he wanted every child to have the same chance he had, the chance to learn, to grow, and to reach for the stars. That's why, even when he became a very important person, he always remembered the importance of school and learning. It was a seed planted long ago, a seed that would blossom into a big dream for the whole country. He knew that if everyone had a good education, America would be even stronger and brighter. It was a dream he would carry with him all the way to the White House. Years later, that little boy who loved to read became the President of the United States. Can you imagine? He was now in charge of the whole country. He had big responsibilities, like keeping the country safe and helping people. But even with all those important things to do, President Kennedy never forgot about schools. He traveled around the country and saw that some schools weren't as good as they should be. Some classrooms were crowded, and some didn't have enough books. Some teachers didn't have the right tools to help their students learn. It made him sad to see this. He knew that every child, no matter where they lived, deserved a good education. He believed that a good school was like a launching pad, giving kids the power to blast off into a bright future. He saw that some kids had a harder time learning because they didn't have enough to eat or because they didn't have doctors to help them when they were sick. He knew that these things made it harder to focus on school. President Kennedy decided he needed to do something about it. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but he was determined to make a difference. He remembered his own love of learning and wanted to make sure every child in America had the same chance to learn and grow. He knew that strong schools meant a stronger America. So, he made it his mission to fix the problems he saw and make sure every child had the chance to shine. President Kennedy wasn't the kind of leader who just sat in his office and made decisions. He wanted to know what was really happening in schools, so he did something special. He went to visit them. He didn't just wave from a distance. He went inside classrooms. He talked to the teachers and the students. He asked them what was good about their schools and what could be better. He listened carefully to what they had to say. He wanted to hear directly from the people who were there every day. He asked the teachers what they needed to help their students learn best. Did they need more books? Did they need better training? Did they need smaller classes so they could give each student more attention? He also talked to the students. He asked them what they liked about school and what they found challenging. He wanted to know if they felt safe and supported. He wanted to know if they felt like they were learning things that would help them in the future. Sometimes the students were nervous to talk to the president, but he was so kind and friendly that they soon felt comfortable sharing their thoughts. He made them feel like their opinions mattered, because they did. By talking to teachers and students, President Kennedy got a much clearer picture of what was happening in schools across the country. He learned about the challenges they faced, but he also learned about their hopes and dreams. He used what he learned from these visits to come up with ideas for making schools better for everyone. President Kennedy had a big dream for America. He called it the New Frontier. It wasn't about outer space, even though he wanted to explore that too. His new frontier was about making life better for everyone in the United States. And a big part of that was making sure everyone had a chance to get a great education. He believed that good schools were like spaceships, ready to launch kids into amazing futures. He wanted every child, no matter where they lived or how much money their family had, to have access to the best possible education. The New Frontier. For education meant making sure all schools had enough money to buy the things they needed, like books, computers, which were new and exciting back then, and science equipment. It meant making sure teachers had the best training so they could help their students learn in the most effective ways. It also meant helping kids who needed extra support. Some children had special needs that made it harder for them to learn in a regular classroom. President Kennedy believed that these children deserved extra help so they could reach their full potential. The New Frontier was about creating a country where everyone had the chance to learn and grow, to become the best they could be. It was about building a future where everyone could contribute to making America even stronger and brighter. He wanted to create a nation where everyone had the chance to explore their own new frontier of knowledge and opportunity. To make his new frontier for education a reality, President Kennedy knew he needed to help teachers. He understood that teachers are like the captains of those spaceship classrooms, guiding their students on amazing learning adventures. So, he created programs to give teachers better training. These programs help teachers learn new and exciting ways to teach their students. They learn how to make lessons more fun and interesting. They learn how to help students who were struggling. Imagine it like this. The programs were like a special school for teachers. They could go and learn new skills, just like their students. They learned about new discoveries in science and math, and how to bring those discoveries into the classroom. They learned how to use new tools and technology to make learning more engaging. President Kennedy believed that if teachers were well trained and supported, they could do amazing things. He knew that great teachers could inspire their students to dream big and achieve anything they set their minds to. These training programs weren't just about learning new facts and figures. They were about helping teachers become even better at what they already did so well, inspiring a love of learning in their students. He wanted to empower teachers, giving them the tools and knowledge they needed to create exciting and effective learning environments for every child. It was all part of his plan to launch a new era of education in America. President Kennedy didn't stop at just helping teachers. He knew that classrooms needed the right tools to help students learn. He wanted to make sure that every school had the resources it needed to be a great place for learning. He pushed for more money for schools so they could buy new books. He knew that having lots of interesting books was like having a window into the world. He wanted students to be able to explore different cultures, learn about history, and discover new ideas through reading. He also wanted schools to have the latest technology. Back then, computers were just starting to become popular, and President Kennedy saw how they could help students learn in new and exciting ways. He encouraged schools to buy computers and other new equipment so students could learn about science, math, and technology. It wasn't just about the fancy new gadgets, though. He also made sure schools had basic supplies, like paper, pencils, and art materials. He knew that even the simplest tools could help students express their creativity and learn new things. President Kennedy wanted to create classrooms that were full of exciting learning opportunities. He believed that if students had the right tools and resources, they would be more engaged in their learning and more likely to succeed. He wanted to make sure every school was a place where students could explore, discover, and grow. It was all part of his big plan to give every child in America the best possible education. President Kennedy knew that some children needed extra help to succeed in school. He understood that some students had special needs that made learning more challenging. These needs could be different for each child. Some might have trouble reading, while others might have difficulty paying attention. He believed that every child, no matter their challenges, deserved a chance to learn and grow. So, he supported programs to help kids with special needs. These programs provided extra support and resources to help these students overcome their challenges and reach their full potential. These programs might include special classes with smaller groups of students, where teachers could give each child more individual attention. They might also include special tools and equipment to help students learn in different ways. For example, a student who had trouble reading might benefit from special books with larger print or audio recordings of the text. President Kennedy believed that it was important to identify children with special needs early on so they could get the help they needed as soon as possible. He knew that early intervention could make a big difference in a child's life. He wanted to create a school system where every child felt supported and valued, no matter their abilities. He believed that by providing extra help to those who needed it, we could create a more fair and just society where everyone had the opportunity to succeed. This was a very important part of his new frontier for education. President Kennedy had another amazing idea to help with education, not just in America, but all around the world. He created something called the Peace Corps. The Peace Corps was like a team of helpers who went to other countries to share their skills and knowledge. And guess what? Many of those helpers were teachers. President Kennedy knew that education was important everywhere, not just in the United States. He wanted to help other countries improve their schools and give their children a better chance to learn. So, he sent teachers from the Peace Corps to countries all over the world. These teachers helped local teachers learn new ways to teach. They helped build schools and libraries. They even helped write new textbooks. Imagine traveling to a faraway land and helping children learn to read and write. That's what the Peace Corps teachers did. They shared their love of learning with children who might not have had the same opportunities as kids in America. The Peace Corps wasn't just about teaching, though. It was also about learning. The teachers who went to other countries learned about different cultures and ways of life. They brought those experiences back to America and shared them with their students, helping them to become more understanding and open-minded. The Peace Corps was a way for America to share its knowledge and resources with the world. It was a way to show that we cared about education and wanted to help children everywhere have a chance to learn and grow. It was another important part of President Kennedy's vision for a better world. Slowly but surely, people started to notice the changes happening in schools across the country. Teachers were more excited and confident. Classrooms were filled with new books and equipment. Students were more engaged and eager to learn. Parents saw that their children were coming home from school with a newfound love of learning. They were excited about what they were learning in class and wanted to share it with their families. Communities began to take pride in their schools. They saw that good schools were important for the future of their town or city. They started to support their schools in new ways, volunteering their time and donating money. News stories began to appear about the amazing things happening in schools. People started to talk about the Kennedy effect on education. They saw that President Kennedy's vision was making a real difference in the lives of children all across the country. It wasn't just about test scores and grades. It was about creating a love of learning that would last a lifetime. It was about helping children develop the skills and knowledge they needed to succeed in the future. President Kennedy's efforts were inspiring others to get involved in education. People realized that everyone had a role to play in making sure that all children had the opportunity to learn and grow. It was the beginning of a nationwide movement to reform education and make it better for everyone. The seeds of change had been planted, and they were starting to blossom. Sadly, President Kennedy's time as president was cut short. But even though he was no longer with us, his dream for better schools didn't disappear. It was like he had lit a bright torch, and others picked it up and kept running with it. People who believed in his vision continued to work hard to improve education. They built on the programs he had started and created new ones to help students and teachers. They made sure that schools had the resources they needed to succeed. Teachers who had been inspired by President Kennedy continued to teach with passion and dedication. They shared his belief that every child deserved a chance to learn and grow. Students who had benefited from his programs went on to do amazing things. They became doctors, lawyers, scientists, artists, and leaders. They made a difference in their communities and in the world. President Kennedy's vision inspired a whole generation of educators and policymakers to focus on improving education. They understood that investing in education was investing in the future of America. Even today, many years later, people still remember President Kennedy's commitment to education. His legacy continues to inspire us to work towards a better future for all children. His dream of a new frontier for education lives on in the classrooms and schools across the country. He showed everyone that even one person can make a big difference in the world, especially when it comes to helping kids learn. Even now, When you walk into a school, you can see some of the ways President Kennedy's ideas still help students learn. Think about the books in the library. He wanted to make sure all schools had lots of books. Think about the computers in the classroom. He saw how technology could help kids learn. Think about the teachers who are always trying to find new and exciting ways to teach. They are carrying on his dream of having well-trained and passionate educators. Think about the programs that help students who need extra support. He believed that every child deserved a chance to succeed. The Peace Corps is still around today, sending teachers and other helpers to countries all over the world. It's a reminder that President Kennedy's vision of helping others extends beyond our own borders. President Kennedy's legacy is a reminder that education is important. It's a reminder that everyone has a role to play in making sure that all children have the opportunity to learn and grow. So, the next time you're in school, take a moment to think about President Kennedy. Remember his love of learning and his commitment to making schools better for everyone. Remember that his dream of a new frontier for education is still alive today. And remember that you, too, can make a difference in the world by valuing education and working to create a brighter future for all. He showed us that even a young boy with a love for reading can grow up to change the world, one classroom at a time. So, what can we learn from President Kennedy's story? We can learn that education is powerful. It can change lives and make the world a better place. We can learn that even one person, with a big dream and a lot of hard work, can make a real difference. We can also learn that education is not just about memorizing facts and figures. It's about learning how to think, how to solve problems, and how to work together. It's about developing a love of learning that will stay with you for the rest of your life. President Kennedy believed that every child deserved a chance to learn and grow. He believed that education was the key to unlocking their potential and helping them achieve their dreams. He showed us that by investing in education, we are investing in the future. Think about what you want to be when you grow up. Do you want to be a doctor? A teacher? An artist? A scientist? Whatever your dream, education can help you achieve it. So go to school, pay attention in class, and ask questions. Read books, explore new ideas, and never stop learning. Remember President Kennedy's story and let it inspire you to make the most of your education. Because just like President Kennedy, you have the power to change the world. And it all starts with learning. It's your turn to explore your own new frontier and create a brighter future for yourself and for everyone around you. The adventure of learning awaits.